Hey everyone, my name is Dr. Scott Schell and I'm a specialist in the Germanic languages. I have a PhD in Germanic linguistics from the University of California, Berkeley, a master's degree in linguistics from Wayne State University, and a bachelor's degree in German. So like usual, I'm going to go ahead and give you the next set of 10 names. And these names are recorded in the Old Saxon speech area. So these names are actually attested names, and they are all recorded before the year 1000. Of course, I do also give you a reconstructed form so it looks more Saxon. You'll see in this video that we actually have a few names that were Latinized. And so what I do when I reconstruct them, the attested forms that is, I actually get rid of the Latin endings and I just give you a Germanic name specific to the Old Saxon language. So the first one in my list here is going to be Hôsuuîð. Hôsuuîð. This is literally high as in whole, and then strong, as in Swede. And this name is specifically recorded for a female. So this is, of course, someone who is high, as in wise and intelligent, like we see with Odin's name, like the High One. And then Swede is actually somebody who's very strong and powerful. So the next name is Kravenwald. Kravenwald. So the recorded form of this is actually Kramwardus, in which case is Latinized. That US right there tells us that it was actually for a man, though. So at least we do have that. So we do know that this name was recorded for a man, but the way it was recorded was actually in a Latinate form. But I've given you here a reconstructed Old Saxon Heliand form without that Latin ending. So this is a name, of course, for someone who is a warder or a protector and possesses the qualities of a raven. This could also mean one who protects ravens. Again, we have this sort of strong Odinic connection to this name because of the association of ravens. And if Hugin and Munin are taken into consideration, this could also be viewed as someone who protects the mind and memory of a people. Alright, and the third one here is Rodier. Rodier. This is literally counsel or reed, spear. And this name was recorded for a man. So this is someone who gives good reed or counsel, and of course is fierce because of the spear-like qualities. It's a very warrior-like name. And the concept of giving good reed is actually very Saxon. So, for example, in the Lord's Prayer in the Heliand, it doesn't say, Lord, give us our daily bread. It actually says, Lord, give us our daily reed or counsel. Alright, and the next name we have is Rodier. Rodier. It is literally fame, spear, and it was recorded for a man. So this is for someone who was, of course, fierce and renowned. The idea of achieving fame in the Germanic sense is not easy. This name is reserved for someone who has done great deeds and will be remembered long after he is dead. This name is also directly cognate with Hrothgar from Beowulf, the ruler of Denmark. And it is also related to the modern name Roger. Alright, and now we have Hrothgar. Hrothgar. This is a name for a woman, and it is fame, home. So this is, of course, a name for someone who is true and famous. This is for someone who has achieved a high level of fame by possibly preserving and protecting her kin. The word gard here is actually related to Garver, as in Old Norse, Midgard, and Old Saxon, Mithelgard. So essentially, she is the enclosure, the one who is the epicenter of family and kin. Alright, and now we have Hrolding. Hrolding. So this is literally fame, as in Hrold, and Ing, as in the god Ing, or it could just mean a descendant of Ing. So we do know that this name was meant for a man because of the Latin recording with the US on the name. However, I've also given you the reconstruction here for the Old Saxon Heliand, so you do not have to have the Latinized ending there. So this is a name for someone who is descended from Ing, or perhaps even just wants to be associated with Ing in general. Anyone really with this name is deeply connected with the Ingvaones as their distant ancestor, at least. This is a sort of true Saxon name that should only be used by one who has gained fame by honoring the Saxons and their descendants. And one last final note here. This name can actually be written two different ways using runes. Both of these ways of writing ing are actually attested in the historical sources. And if you want to know which sources these are, go ahead and leave a comment below, and I will reply to your comment with the source names, translation, year of the inscription, and so forth. And now we have Hroldwulf. Hroldwulf. This is literally fame wolf. The gender is not explicitly recorded in the sources, however it must have been for a man because the word wolf is an A-stem masculine across all of the Germanic languages. And actually we even have the word Hroldwulfus attested in the corpus as well. And as I've been explaining in this video, that US is a Latinized ending, in which case indicates that it is a man. So this is for someone who is famous and possesses the aggressive qualities of a wolf. Alright, and for our 8th name here, it's actually very simple. It is just Hôsuuîð. Hôsuuîð. And this is actually a name recorded for a man. This is one who clearly is a thinker. The direct translation is thought or mind, and it is directly related to Old Saxon soul lore. So if you haven't seen my video on the Old Saxon soul complex, please go ahead and see that video so you understand the different parts of the soul. And one final note here, as far as modern cognates are concerned, it's actually related to the word Hubert, or Hubert, as they say in German, meaning like mind or thought bright. And for the 9th one here, we have hoonwald. Hoonwald. This is literally young bear from hoon, and then wald is power. So we have the US ending attested in the manuscript, in which case, of course, is a Latinized ending, as I've been explaining throughout this video, but that can easily be reconstructed into the Old Saxon Heliand form, in which case would just be hoonwald without the US. So this is a name for someone who is, obviously like a warrior of some sort, and just someone who is youthful and strong. Alright, and for my last name here in this video, it's actually extremely important, especially for those wanting to know more about runes and the Saxons, because you actually have a Z in this name. So this name was Ingizo. Ingizo. So this name is recorded for a man. It is someone who is of a descendant of Ing. The name literally means like little Ing, as in like a descendant of Ing. And again, like I said with the other Ing name in this video, it's either someone who is a descendant of Ing or at least is associated with Ing somehow. And the first word is, of course, the god Ing. But the IZO is a diminutive suffix to make something sort of smaller. I mean, I guess it's sort of like Bill versus Billy, or Scott versus Scotty, and so on and so forth. Those are like little diminutive suffixes. And so you have the same thing going on here. So this sound is actually Z. And again, this is very important because this sound does not exist in the Heliand. It does appear as an allophone, but it does not appear as an actual phoneme that's actualized in the text. And so what I mean is that, like, if you have an S between two vowels in the Heliand, it would be pronounced like a Z, but we would still sort of understand it as an S. We also do this in English, and we don't even realize it. That's what actually makes it more of an allophone. So for example, if you say the word cake, you actually have that aspiration that follows that first C or that K sound. But then if you say the word tack, that aspiration isn't there. And so with some languages, that's actually really important because that could mean the difference between airplane and water. But to us, we don't really have those two sounds as separate phonemes. That's why they're just referred to as allophones. But I'm not trying to get into the nitty-gritty of linguistics, because those of you who are listening who even know a bit about linguistics would sit here and probably argue with me about what is a phoneme versus an allophone, because phonemes are actually just mental representations. Anyway, my point here is just that with this word, it's really interesting that we get to see the Z there, because that tells us that that sound was actually understood as a phoneme in this recorded name. And I went ahead and reconstructed it here for the sort of Heliand form. It's technically not really a Heliand form because I'm showing you that there is a Z there, as in the Z phoneme sound. So if anything, it's really more of like a pre-Heliand form of this name. But if you wanted the true Heliand form, just change that Z rune to an S rune, and you're good to go. Alright everyone, well I hope you enjoyed this video on the next set of 10 names. Like I say in all of my videos, there are plenty more to come. And please go ahead and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. It helps me out tremendously. And go ahead and comment below. I know some of you like to message me on Facebook, and of course that's still fine, but just know that if you're actually commenting below, it helps with the algorithm to show that the YouTube channel I run here does actually exist. So really just the more activity that's going on in the channel itself is very helpful, because it will start popping up in people's recommendations.